Hi, folks. Welcome to Music Appreciation. I'm your host, Dr. Tim Hendrickson. I'm very excited to have you join us for this course. I think we're going to have a lot of fun together exploring the various components of music and musical styles and even some history of music. So I look forward to working with each of you, albeit from a virtual standpoint. So let's talk a little bit about the course and what you are going to need. First of all, like the email that I sent out, you're going to need to purchase that access code. And I know some of you already have, and that's great. If you have not already done so, you need to do that as soon as possible because assignments are going to become due fairly quickly. So please, let that be your first priority, is getting that online textbook access code. But from that point on, we're going to have really sort of a dual look at this course. So there's an e-learning side to it, and there is an online textbook side to it. So let's start with the e-learning side, which is probably the one that you're most familiar with. If you've had an online course before at Delta College or maybe perhaps at another college, you have already experienced e-learning or Blackboard or some other type of platform for an online course. Delta uses e-learning, or we sometimes refer to it as D2L. You'll see when you access this course that it is laid out by sections. So the home page of the course, any announcements that we have, like for example, there'll be a welcome announcement to start. You'll see there on the home page for the course. You will also see to the right of those announcements, you'll see a course calendar, a schedule. You're going to see what is becoming due, soon, like within the next few weeks. Then if you go over to the Contents tab, that's where you'll see the 4 primary sections to this course where all the material is. Each of these sections, if you click on it, will show you a description of the material. And then there'll be a short, in some cases, a short introduction or informational video that I produce for you for that specific section. So, for example, the first section is the components of music, the basic, how music is, how we think about music, the various types of music, things like that. So that would be the first section. The second section are the basic elements of music, such as rhythm, harmony, notation, things like that. So as you progress through the lessons, you will see that each of these sections are specific to classes, or what are considered to be classes on your online text. Now that does not mean that you have to stop after each class and wait a day. In fact, I recommend you don't do that, because that can lead to you waiting too long to complete the assignments. You'll notice that each of the sections, each of the classes, each of these ideas has what's called an assessment. These assessments are essentially quizzes. And so when you complete a quiz, that's sort of your proof that you've attended. So your attendance is actually figured by your completion of these quizzes, or in some cases there's a couple of these classes or sections, section items that have what are called standard assignments, and you'll be graded on those too. But that's these short assessments. These are the ones that are going to be showing me, oh yeah, this person is attending, this person is looking at the material. So do those assessments. You need to do everything, but make sure that you get those assessments done. Now, how do you submit those? So we're gonna talk a little bit about that in a moment. First, I want to continue on with the e-learning idea. So you have the sections in e-learning, the descriptions, that's under the Contents tab. You also have the course syllabus. You can see all of the information about the course, instructor information, what the course is designed to do, all of those things. And then you will also have the discussion topics. That's another section of a module of the course. So you can see everything that's contained within the course on e-learning, but that does not get you to the actual work other than the discussion topics. That does not get you to the actual work that you're going to have to do, which is on your online text. So that's why I say there are two components to this. You have the e-learning component, and then you have the online text component. So let's talk about the online text for a moment. You're going to be using the OnMusic Music Appreciation online text, which comes from a publishing company called Connect for Education. If you've already purchased your textbook access code, you are now well aware of those things. You may have experienced a little bit of difficulty getting your textbook from the Delta College Bookstore, simply because they did not label this text under our section, MUS 111830. Unfortunately, that was just a glitch in our system. So, but hopefully by now, everyone has either accessed the bookstore and found the text and is in the process of buying it, if you have not already purchased the access code. Also, don't forget, once you purchase that access code, you must register it. And when you register it, that's when you'll have access to all of the materials on the online text. So here's how it kind of works hand in hand with e-learning and with the online text. When you complete a section, in other words, when you've completed all of the assessments for an entire section, I think section 1 has six classes and 6 assessments. So once you've completed those, you will go back into e-learning, you will go under the assignments tab, and you will indicate or submit your scores for each of those assessments. And when you've done so, that shows me that you've attended and you've done the work. Now, I preface this by saying, I will see when you've done the work. I'm alerted when you've done the work. So I know what your scores will be. So you might be thinking, well, why do you do it that way? Well, here's why. Your score that you have on your online text does not, I say again, does not always reflect what your final grade or scores will be. Why? Because I grade on effort and participation as much as I do correct answers. So while you might not make a perfect score on the assessments, you still may have a great grasp of what's going on. You just, I don't know, maybe you have text anxiety, or perhaps you have some other issues. So I do not believe that a test or a quiz, online or otherwise, is necessarily a fair assessment of a person's abilities. So I look at the whole picture, not just your online textbook scores. It'd be very simple for me to simply transfer those numbers. I don't like to do that. I prefer to look at what you're doing and assess it from the standpoint of, hey, how is this person really working? And then I also, excuse me, I also will take some time to communicate with you that way. If I see that you're struggling, if I see that you're having some real difficulties, I will take the time to get in touch with you and say, hey, what's going on? Let's talk about it. Maybe you need some additional help. Okay, so you perform these lessons or classes, as it is, on your online text. You do the assessments, and you go back into e-learning and you submit your scores. And that way I know that you're doing the work on the online text. Let's jump back to the e-learning component for a moment and talk about the discussion topics. The discussion topics, and right now there are 2. There will probably be more, but right now you'll only see, well, you only see 1 for right now, the introductions. These are graded assignments, so these count towards your grade. It's not much, but it does count. The first one, the introductions, is just simply a way for you to introduce yourself to the class, to think about it when you're in a face-to-face class, often on the first day. You take a minute and tell everybody your name and who you are and, you know, how many dogs or cats you might have, blah, blah, blah. So that's pretty much what this is. And it also, I will do one of these as well, so you get to know me a little bit more as well. But that does count towards your final grade, so don't blow this off. Do the assignment. Then there'll be other discussion topics. There is one more that is going to involve you actually listening to some music and giving your interpretations, things like that. So those are the only graded assignments that you're going to find solely on e-learning. Everything else is going to be on your online text. So if you have questions about this, folks, please don't panic. Just shoot me an email. I'll be happy to work with you. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about grading. As I said before, I grade on participation and effort as much as I do on correct answers. So once again, your completion of these assignments is your attendance. That's what I will look at and say, yes, they are doing what they're supposed to do. It is nearly impossible to fail one of my courses. You can do it, but you really have to work at it to fail. You've got an A. All you got to do is do the work. Now, let me kind of qualify that by saying I'm looking at what you do. And if I see that you're F after F after F, or zero after zero after zero, I'm going to contact you and I'm going to ask you what's going on. And it might be a case where you simply are not grasping the material. It could be any number of things, but at least I communicate with you, you communicate with me, and we can work something out. If you don't communicate with me, I can't help you. There's nothing I can do. So please, please, I implore you, yea, verily, talk to me. If something is not working for you, talk to me. Let me know what's going on so that I can help you. Okay? Now, communication with me. How do you communicate with me? Best way? Email. In the event that you call my office phone, which you are welcome to do, I'm not going to be on campus every day like pre-COVID. Normally, yeah, I do. I have office hours almost every single day. Because of COVID, we've got restrictions, as I'm sure you're more than well aware of in your own life, where we are simply not able to get into the building without going through a whole screening process. And we have actually been encouraged by Delta to limit our time at the college. So that's what this is. It's just simply a means of protecting us and protecting our students and so forth. So we're limiting the time that we're spending at Delta College. Now, what does that mean for you? Well, the best way to get in touch with me is through email. If you call my office phone, as I said before, and you're welcome to do so, leave a voicemail, I'm probably not going to hear it for a week. So the best way, if you need to get in touch with me in a hurry, email me. I will answer your emails within 24 to 48 hours, guaranteed, except on the weekends. I reserve the weekends for myself and my family, and so I don't answer emails on the weekends. I know it's a little bit frustrating sometimes, but that's life. That's the way it is. So if you email me after 5 p.m. on a Friday, you're probably not going to hear from me until the following Monday. So don't be alarmed. I will answer you, but it won't be as quickly as it is through the week. Okay? Best way to get in touch with me, email. Now, suppose things go to the point to where you really need to talk with me on a face-to-face basis. We can do that, but we have to go through the procedures for us to meet face-to-face. So, in the event that that happens, I would encourage you to consider the following. If you really need to talk with me on a one-on-one basis, face-to-face, let's try Skype or video chat of some kind, Google Hangouts, there's any number, Zoom, there's any number of things that we can do to communicate one-on-one, quote-unquote, one-on-one with each other. If that does not work for you, and I agree, sometimes there's just things that happen that we just simply cannot make those work, then we will work out a way to meet face-to-face at Delta College. I'm not opposed to it. I'm simply stating that, we're trying to work to everyone's best interests and everyone's health and safety. Okay, so taking a look at the online test. Once again, once you log on and you've registered and all of that and you access it, you'll see the same things in a different format on the online text as you do with e-learning. You'll see all of those sections, but they'll all be broken down into their various classes. You'll see class 1, class 2, class 3, and then there'll be a heading for that class, as you can see here on our little display. And when you click on those, you will be brought to that specific lesson or that specific class, that topic. There'll be some explanations going on, reading that you must do. Just think of it as a virtual textbook, and you will need to read in order to do the assessments. I think that just about covers everything that we need as far as the way in the way of content. Again, I cannot stress enough, you got to have that online textbook access code, and you need it as soon as you can. So let's get moving on that. All right, one final thing about the assignments. I give you ample time to complete assignments. So let's discuss that for just a second. You'll see, again, on the home page of our e-learning site, you're going to see due dates. You're going to see when things are coming due. Folks, these are simply due dates. There are date ranges for you to complete these assignments, usually 3 to 4 weeks for you to complete an assignment. You don't need to wait until the last possible minute to complete an assignment, and I encourage you to not do that. Many people mistakenly think, oh, I've got till 11:59 on this Saturday to do this. Well, technically, yeah, you do, but if you wait until 11:58 to submit it, you're playing with fire. You could have a power failure, your computer could crash, the internet could crash, and it has. We could have more shark attacks off the coast of Newfoundland. I mean, come on. Don't wait until the last possible moment to submit your assignments. I urge you, I implore you. You've got nearly 4 weeks, and you're going to need that time to cover all the material. But don't wait until the last minute to submit your scores, to submit your materials on your online text or on e-learning. Please take advantage of the time that's allotted to you. You'll see if you scroll down through your assignments, you'll see when things are due, when things are open. So you have an opening date or a start date, and then you have a due date and an end date, the cutoff date. The cutoff date and the due date are the same thing. So if you don't get your assignment in, you're missing out. You've lost that assignment. You've lost that score. So please, I can't stress it enough. I implore you, do the work and do it on time. Okay? Now, again, always, if you have questions and concerns, anything like that, go ahead and shoot me an email. I'll be happy to talk with you, work with you all that I can. I hope you're going to enjoy this. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool stuff here. I'm going to be asking you to provide some musical examples of stuff that you listen to. So keep that on the back burner. Keep that in the back of your head. If you listen to Smash Mouth, I'm going to ask you to provide some titles that we can all sort of listen to. If you listen to Five Finger Death Punch, whatever, I want to know. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the music of today, in addition to the music that we're going to be looking at from the standpoint of surveying. Essentially, that's what this class is. We're surveying music throughout historical periods, everything from the medieval times on up through contemporary literature. The only thing we don't really spend a great deal of time on is pop culture music. And that covers everything from what we call pop, rap, jazz, blues, whatever you want to go through, and that on up through emo, screamo, metal, all the other various genre that we have. Your text doesn't really delve into that too much. We will, as a class, we will talk about it. That's kind of where the discussion topics will be going, and then we're going to relate it to the vocabulary, if you will, that we find in our online text. Okay, so I think it's going to rock. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Email me if you have questions, and please stay safe, stay healthy, take care.
I'm a sentimental sap, that's all. What's the use of trying not to fall? I have no will